What's up, buddy?
How you doing,
So,
Kyle?
man, I'm good. Welcome everybody to our live breakdown of 24.2. So, live, we will explain that what that means here in just a minute, as it was so humorously found out to be more difficult than we thought last time. But Jamie Free is here with us. Ron will join us when he can. Ron is working, and so he will do his best to hop on if he can.
Yeah.
Of course, I always hesitate, as beautiful as Ron is, I always hesitate to say that he's working just because I just don't want everybody calling the fire station asking, saying they need Ron to come and help them up.
Have you ever seen Tacoma FD?
Yes, I have.
it's like that one lady who calls and is just like hoping a certain firefighter shows up. I feel like that's probably happened to Ron. He's a good looking guy, man. I mean, he's a good looking dude.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, that's the deal. That's why, so we look at the overlay. That's why the two biggest, most beautiful men are there. I'm kind of the Oompa Loompa imp in the corner. But that's the way that it goes, man. So
all Oreos have something soft in the middle. All right.
That's it, man. I'm the soft filling.
Yeah. We're just a vanilla Oreo. It's all right.
That's all right, brother. Man, that's amazing. Okay, well, dude, I as much as I would love to just hear and make jokes the whole time, people actually want to talk about the workout. Okay, here's the deal. So here's what I'm gonna do, homie. Is they've got a little bit. I'm gonna keep the sound off so that way I don't mess up your sound. But dude, I'm gonna go ahead and share this, and we'll just kind of talk about it as they go over. And so here's the deal. I got to tell you this though, dude. To this point, of all of them, of every single announcement we've ever had, this was my favorite because Seth Rollins, like, there's a reason why this dude is a star.
Yeah.
Have you got a chance? Oh gosh, yeah. Well, that's the deal. It shows why he's like the biggest star in the WWE right now.
Yeah, I could.
So, have you had a chance to like actually watch it?
Yeah, no, I watched the beginning with my wife, and then I had to obviously work because normal people work during the middle of the day. But it's I ended up watching some of this, and he was great. I mean, I don't know what people thought they were going to get, but I don't know if they were quite prepared for the personality that he brought, which I enjoyed it. I thought he was great.
Oh yeah, oh, it's great. Well, it kills me. So as you're watching this, if you watch the people in the background, see, this is what the most hilarious part of this whole thing is watching the people in the background. WWE stars, they're used to playing off of the crowd and the crowd reacting, responding. Dude, all these people are so nervous about what's going to come out. Like every time Dave does it, it's this real tense thing that they didn't know how to respond. It absolutely cracked me up.
No, it was definitely one of those things where you're like, he's working hard. Because he's not getting anything from anyone. So,
well, and this deal is, I don't know if they realize, and obviously the dude's got the belt, he's got the jacket. Clearly they knew something was, but like, I don't think people, I thought it was going to be Seth Rollins coming out presenting it as the CrossFit person, guy who does CrossFit, who's also a big time athlete. I didn't know that it was Seth Rollins coming out.
I didn't realize he was going to do the workout announcement. I thought he was just announcing like the event, sort of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So I kind of was expecting Castro to come out somewhere, and he never did.
Dude. Hey, so speaking of, he never did. So for everybody that's kind of watching with us, the reason that we are doing this at 6:00 Central tonight is because the first week we decided we had this really good idea. We were going to do this live as it came out, and then CrossFit, came out and they showed a few things. Then they went to commercial. Then they showed a few more things and they went to commercial. Then they did a homage to Dave's announcement. Then they did a commercial. Then they did a competition in which all of the athletes were effectively synchro and nobody was trying to win. Then they did a commercial, and it just kept dragging on. So hopefully this way we can.
Everyone just had to hear us talk about nothing. So it was just
nothing. Hey, you want to know what though? So Jamie, what I did though is I did actually, our conversation I posted to our podcast. And really funny thing is in the first, about 4 hours, it's had as many downloads as just about anything we've done. So They because we were talking about nothing, but you and Ron were just sharing a bunch of stories, which was glorious. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people want to hear me talk. It's probably Ron for sure. So
dude,
he's a very interesting man.
you do this. Hey, for everybody listening, Jamie has as many stories and as much experience as you could possibly imagine. Jamie always downplays everything that he has. So
I've just been around a long time, and you know, I'm just like everyone else. I've never made it to the games, so you know, I think everyone can relate a little bit to that. You know, just doing it for fun, man.
Well, dude, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna fast forward so we can talk about this as we're kind of watching the workout. And we don't have to watch the whole thing. I mean, we all know. So it's 20 minutes. It's 300 meters on the rower, 10 deadlifts at 185, and 50 double unders.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing to make mention of as we're watching Medeiros and Mertens is you and I, as close as you and I are not Medeiros and Mertens.
Nope.
Nor is, let's throw this out, nor is just about anybody else in the world. And so it's always the mistake that I make, and I think a lot of people make when they're watching this. You always go, oh, okay, they got this many rounds. I think I can get this many. When really you should effectively just divide what they do in half, and that's how many you can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's their performance is pretty impressive, and especially like this is not a short person workout, or it's not like the last one where it's, you know, range of motion. It's like rowing, and it's not enough rowing to like really be beneficial for really tall people. But watching Colton row, I mean, he crushed it. I mean, you really can't get much better than that for a guy who's like 5'2".
Yeah, I mean, how about and you just got to ask, did they, you know, that they almost had to plan it? You know, Mertens just murders the last workout.
Yeah.
And for anybody with a brain who's been watching CrossFit lately, and I'm not saying that Mertens was like, it was a for sure thing he was going to win, but you knew the guy was going to murder it. He's incredibly fit and he's built for that type of workout. And then they bring him in for the rowing workout. It's like, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Like we were before the last, just before the last workout, I think it was Monday. I was sitting there talking to Will Morad and Brooke Wells, and Will is like, man, I think I'm gonna try to redo it, and I think like I could make some money because he got 547, which is
that's unbelievable.
And Brooke looks at him and goes, Colton's got it, and I'm like, all right, well, what did Colton get? Colton went sub 520. I'm like, Will, don't redo it. There's no point. There's no point. You know, there's no point in himself for possibly maybe getting close. So,
oh yeah. Hey, so you know, unfortunately, I'm not able to pull it up right now, but had a strategy comment from the great Heather Hippensteel. Heather Hippensteel says, "Hey, you know what? Just sprint the whole thing." And Heather, I'm with you. I say we sprint the whole thing.
Depends on what your sprint looks like, I guess. You know, Heather is a phenomenal athlete, no matter what she tells you. You know, coming from the they're all the Hippensteels are phenomenally athletic.
Oh yes.
So, you know, I'm not going to follow what she says because I'm not as good as her. So, just going to survive it. I did 2 rounds of it today. I tested it out. I just wanted to kind of see how it felt. And I mean, it's going to accumulate, but it's not terrible. I mean, the double unders are going to be what jacks your heart up, and then you got to cool it back down for the rest of it. But it's really not like everyone can do this workout. The weight's not heavy. The row isn't long. Like if this was 1,000 meters and a 315 deadlift, I'd be like, all right, cool. I like that. But you know, that's a little bit more geared towards longer, stronger athletes. Whereas this is just like, it's very accessible for everybody. The only real issue I have with it as an affiliate owner, it's like, all right, so we got to run heats at 8. We got 70 people doing it. It's 20 minutes. So that means 30 minutes so we can transition. So 30 minutes per heat times, you know, how many heats of 8, you know, it's just like, we're going to be there all night. You know, I just don't think they think through that, or they just don't care.
Yeah, you know, we'd kind of talked about that last week about how it seemed like they were trying to move it where it was a little bit more friendly for the affiliate. And in terms of you from a gym owner, I think what I'm seeing in this open is when they say friendly for the affiliate, they obviously move the quarters. Quarters are 25% now. So
Yeah.
effectively what they're telling you is they think that right at 25% or even a little bit less than 25% of people are genuinely wanting to compete in some fashion and not just do like their hour of fitness a day.
Yeah.
And so there's 25, they believe that 25% of people will say, hey, yeah, I'll pay extra to do another online worldwide competition. And so I think what they're saying is these first 3 workouts, like I'm wondering what we're going to see next week, because I'm going to tell you, I made a joke in our text message about the things they should put and just watch the world burn. Say we're going to do toes to bar muscle ups and handstand push-ups and watch the world light on fire. But I got to tell you, dude, I'm not even sure we're going to see like a chest to bar or even maybe a pull-up. I feel like we probably are going to see maybe a wall ball, and I'm not sure what else at that point, but I don't think it's going to be too crazy, because I think what they're saying is they want this first round to be everybody can compete and everybody can do it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is fine. It's one of those things where, I want to make sure that the people at my affiliate can do well. And, there's going to be workouts where like some people who really want to beat me will beat me, like that first workout. There's people that just are really good at burpees and they're short to the ground, or they're very, very fit, and the weight's not heavy enough. So, it's cool for them to beat some people who've been doing it for a long time. It doesn't do a lot for my ego at all. So I pretty much hear that and I'm like, all right, I hate myself.
Well, isn't that what redos are for in the open? So I can go from 12,000 to 11,500.
I will tell you, there's not a chance of redoing any of these workouts or any quarterfinal workouts until it gets to semis, when it gets like really serious. And hopefully I can make it into the top 200 to get to semis, but it's one of those things where that's the goal. So like, let's peak then. Don't try to get your ego involved on this one and be like, all right, well, I think I can do another 30 reps. Well, does that, like, what if you don't? Like, getting the same score is like kissing your sister. It's just not, it's not appealing at all.
Dude, I'm not so sure you use the kissing your sister thing there correctly. I feel like getting the same score would be losing. But that's either way.
Think kissing your sister.
See, I was going to try and turn that around on you, and you just
I don't know if you can turn that around on me, buddy. I live in the South, so I understand a little bit about this. Like the real South, not Texas South. Okay.
Well, hey, dude, so I'll tell you. So before we actually talk strategy here, I got a question for you. I will say there's a couple of predictions for Beer Mile next week. What are your thoughts on chances of the Beer Mile showing up?
Dude, I don't even drink, so I don't think that. If that shows up, I'm probably not going to do very well. I'll probably be drunk by like 800 meters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Garrett Carlson, he made a comment. He said basic, simple CrossFit, all inclusive, which I think that's the deal. I think that's exactly what they're going for. I think in the past when they had 5, or even, a couple of years ago when they had 3, but still that last one was, they had to have something that was a divider. If they weren't going to let that many people move to the next round, you have to have a divider. But if you're just going to effectively say, hey, anybody who really wants to compete, we're going to let you move to the next round. You don't need a divider, because the divider is going to show up in the next round.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
I'm great. I'm great with, and I think this, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm dogging it. Like, I'm great with the way this is, because they have opened up the next round.
Well, yeah. And I think it really, what it really comes down to for anyone who's, who's been to semis or been to quarters or done the AGOQ. And obviously I'm only talking about masters. But like, if you've been there, like, you're not too worried about this round. Yeah. So it's like, all right, well, these workouts aren't like sexy or fun, but they're good enough to get 25% to the next round, and everyone's going to move on. And it'll be fine. It is what it is. But if this was the same way as it was like in 2013 when there was regionals and stuff like that, like if this were the workouts, I'd be like, it would be a different set of people in regionals. Like my giant rear end would not be in there.
Yeah.
I made it because I was strong. Like you could do that back then, but if it was all engine, I would have been really in a bad place.
Yeah. Hey, so you were talking about, did you see there, Colton? So not only does he trip, but his rope gets tangled. Obviously there's no redos for him at this point or anybody, but I gotta tell you, that'll spike your heart rate if you're actually trying to really push.
Yeah.
Man, I've done that before where you're in the middle of a workout, you kick, and then all of a sudden your rope kind of does that deal where it twists around like this, and
Yeah.
you have to kind of fiddle with it. Man, that'll your heart rate's already spiked because you're in the 5th round, but it'll jack your heart rate through the roof then.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing double unders in essentially like a phone booth. Like
Yeah.
being that close together, and I get they're doing it for TV, but like that's not comfortable for me. Like I
Oh,
wouldn't be comfortable sitting next to someone else doing that.
yeah.
But they're professionals, and I'm just some guy.
You're not some guy.
I
Okay,
am some guy, man. It's all right, and I'm okay with it.
I'm some guy, Jamie. Like you have to realize the percentage of some guy. You're including some guy from like the 1% all the way down below that. You are there's levels of some guy to this point, buddy.
There's always levels.
There's
But,
always levels.
There,
Okay.
there's levels to facial hair. Yours is beautiful. That's a 10.
Well, dude,
I
I do appreciate that. I
Yeah.
do appreciate that. Okay, so we got a good shot of we had a good shot of Medeiros doing his deadlifts. Let me ask you this. Okay, these guys, these are 2 of the top, I don't know, what do you want to call it? 10, 8 in the world. Obviously flying through the deadlifts, like this is not even a weight for them. Let's say you take your masters that are we're saying they're in the 15th to 25th percentile. So, they want to do it and they want to keep improving. Dude, if you have somebody like that in your gym, are you telling them to try and go unbroken? Or are you telling them to do double under, or I mean, excuse me, not double under. Are you telling them to do singles on the deadlifts? What are you telling them?
I mean, I think it really comes down to what their skill set is. Like, if double unders aren't a big thing for them, then they should probably break it like 30-20 or 25-25 or something like that. Like where it's one break, you get a breather, you drop your heart rate a little bit and then go from there. If the deadlift is heavy, then, I mean, I would go sets of, go 4-3-3 or go 5 sets of 2, something that's going to be manageable for you no matter what. You can't really fix the row. The pace of the row is the key. Like, so when I practiced this, I went out at like a 145 to 147. And it felt okay. I can maintain that, but I'm a puller. That's and the deadlift, that's the easy part for me. It's the double unders, jacking my heart rate up and then getting back on the rower afterwards. That's what I have to manage. So, when you're looking at it, you just have to look at where your strengths are. If you're like a great rower, I don't think it's really going to matter in this because it's only 300 meters. So you still have to pace it out. But like if you're a really good deadlifter or you're really good at double unders, that's where you can make up, the majority of the reps are going to be right there with the double unders.
Yeah, it certainly seems, you know how it goes in every CrossFit workout, and it's different for most people, but there's some workouts where the trap is always the same for everybody. I think the row is the trap for everybody.
Yeah.
I think, these guys are probably rowing, and I don't know, they probably said it on the stream. I was at work, so I didn't get a chance to like listen to exactly what they were doing, but these guys were probably rowing a 140.
Medeiros was rowing a 142 to start. And Mertens was like a 145, but they almost got off at the same time. So like how important is going 142 or 145? It's not like if I'm going to go 147 or 150, it's really not going to matter that much. So, but if it drops your heart rate down and it keeps you level, then that might be the way to go.
Yeah. I think anything that you can do on the rower, that you can come off of the rower and go straight to the deadlifts and do whatever your strategy is on the deadlifts, but nothing where you are like, you got that chest huffing and puffing. Your last 2 rounds, like it's going to be that way anyway, just because of the heart rate creep that happens. But
yeah, exactly.
that'll be
at that point, you're just going to have to push. It's just like the last workout where you hit the 9s and you're just like, it doesn't matter if you're tired. You just have to go.
Yeah, no. And so that's because, I mean, I was messing with it a little bit before we got on and I was, a 155 to 157 gets you off in 1 minute and 10 seconds. And honestly, that's not something for me. Now I've got a little bit more mass than most people watching this stream. So that's not something for me that really wears me out. And so I think I could do a 155 for the 6, 7. I'm not even gonna wish 8 rounds on myself. The 7 rounds that I'm probably gonna get. And that not be the issue. I think for me, honestly, I think it'll probably wind up being just the double under volume. You do 8 at 450, or I mean 8 at 50. That's 400 double unders at some point. Ooh, well, gravity doesn't like me that much.
Buddy, you and me both. I mean, we're both what we consider Clydesdale CrossFitters. We're
Absolutely.
over 205 pounds. So it's just one of those things where it's gonna accumulate. It's gonna feel like crap. And, I hope everyone's Achilles are firmly intact. I think that's something that, warming up for this is going to be incredibly important to make sure that your calves and your lower half is ready for all that bounding, because the first workout was all hinging. This one is mostly hinging. So it's like, all right, you're just wearing out your posterior chain. So what's next?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so looking at this, I mean, obviously these guys are in the 9th round. They're 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
So this chart I'm going to show you guys is not going to pertain to them, but it will pertain to the rest of us non-superheroes out there. So I have affectionately named this one roll out of bed tomorrow. That's the name for this workout.
And look at you using,
as you can see, look at this guy. I mean, man, that's a look you don't want to be in front of. I'll just say that. That's a scary look. That's a look of one of the only people to ever beat Rich Froning in a partner competition ever. And so, my goodness. But you look at this, and so you start looking at the amount of reps. I mean, Jamie, dude, like, how many workouts? We just don't do that many workouts where you have numbers being thrown around like 810.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it this way: someone's gonna, if they got to 11, someone is gonna hit 12. So you're looking at over 1,000 reps in a workout.
Yeah.
Like that's wild to me. Like, and honestly, I really don't want to even get there. If I could, if I was capable, I don't think I'd want to go all the way there. You know, I mean, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And yesterday I made the mistake of doing about 450 dubs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Smart. So I'm warm.
I'm still warm. I haven't cooled down yet.
Yeah, no, I've been sweating since yesterday. But it's just like, it's a lot. This is a lot, especially for an open workout. I mean, if this was your first workout that you've ever done, you're gonna hopefully not, push it too hard or be in a place where you could get rhabdo from all the reps. The volume that's there. If you're doing
you talk about rhabdo. I mean, let's just say, guys, I would be careful. I would be careful even going for a repeat on this one. Like, I know that people love doing repeats, and I'm never going to dog. I was a guy when I was competing, like, I was going to do a repeat because I could always do better. But guys, I'm not sure I would do repeats on this one. I think you're asking for one of those weeks where maybe you even if you don't strain your calf or strain your lower back, you're just going to put yourself so far behind for the 3rd week that it may not be worth it.
Well, and that's how you have to look at this, is even if you want to do your absolute best, this is just a training week. It's you one workout one day that you're going to do, and then you move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And that's how I think that's how everyone should look at it. But, I can't tell anyone how to do that. There's been people at my gym doing redos. I'm like, you guys, first of all, if you want to beat me on the first one, because if you beat me on a redo, you already knew my score. It's just like, it's like the 2200s that I did the other day. Or someone beat me because they had a score to go after. I mean, it is what it is. But, for something like this, I just don't see the purpose.
No, not at all. As man, you can see it. So they're in the 18th minute, and Medeiros is still moving. Like, these guys are. It's one of those things that people. So a funny story about this: when I was, I don't know, maybe 2 years into CrossFit, and I was nowhere near as strong as I am now, and I was nowhere near as fit as I was going to be eventually. But in the gym that I was in, I was the strongest and fittest by far. It was just not really a super competitive gym. And so people were asking me, they go, "Hey, Kyle, so are you gonna try to go to the games this year?" And I had watched the games for 2 years at that point, and I was like, guys, I don't think you realize how good these guys are. Like they're so unbelievably good that we can't fathom how good they are. Yeah. And right now, 19 minutes in, they're quickly moving between all of their stuff. They're still doing. I mean, at this point, I'm probably going to break 4 times on 50 double unders.
I mean, depending on the day, I might break 4 times on 50 double unders anyway. So it's like, if I was getting into the 11th round, you can guarantee my rear end was probably breaking some of those.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Yeah, I
But
mean that's
the
it's just
plan
so
too. You can plan for that. I think that again, it comes down to what you're skilled at.
mhm.
So if you are not great at double unders, you always have that in your back pocket. One break isn't going to kill you.
Yeah.
So if you plan it, you keep your heart rate down and you go from there, you should be all right.
Yeah. Well, and even if you, I mean, and I think it's a really good point. Even if you don't plan it, but you use it to readjust your rope, take one good breath and go
Mhm.
again, it can almost help you more than it hurts you. I mean, because again, if you're someone who is trying to get into the ninth round, okay, fine. But I'm one, I don't think there's that many people that are going to be doing that. And then two, I think the people that are going to be doing that aren't all that worried about one trip because it's 25% that move on. We're not,
Yeah.
you're right. It's not exactly talking about going to the semis or the games.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously we know that we have a couple guys in our group that have already done it and they got into the nines. So,
jeez.
Clearly that's what I have to do now. I can't take a back seat. I just can't do it. So I'm going to have to break myself to do it.
Well, so let me do this. Speaking of people that have already done it, so we'll wrap up here in just a minute. But I want to take a look at what the scoreboard is kind of looking like with people that have done it. So Steve, I'm going to butcher your name, and I'm sorry, Steve Pachan, I don't know. 912 reps. So you take a look at our little chart here. Let me get it back up. Take a look at our little chart. I mean, 900. He was in the 10th round. Hey, how about this, man? A familiar name down here in third at the moment with old Bronislaw Alenkowicz. So how about we holler old Bronislaw, get him out to Fort Wayne in September. That'd be a show.
He's 35 to 39. I tried to talk to Will about it because he was first in 35 to 39. He's like, I'm not competing anymore.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
so Will's a games guy or nothing. So
yeah, looks like nobody has put their score in for the 40 to 44, 40 to 49. Nobody. We know that Jason Grubb already did it. I think Jason was I think he was starting on the 9th round. He was through 8 rounds, starting on the 9th round. It doesn't look like anybody else has. Let's see if there's see if there's a woman in any of these younger divisions that have done it yet. And nobody. So, I mean, it makes sense. There's hardly any, it hadn't been out that long. So,
yeah.
But guys, that is 24.2 roll out of bed tomorrow. And so for all of you affiliate owners, I wish you luck. It will be a long day tomorrow. Hopefully someone brings you some food, because for those of you that don't have 20 rowers and a big gym, it'll probably be one of those deals. Jim, you ever had to do it where you basically just like scheduled time slots all day long?
That's what we currently do, and we're not a small gym. But it comes down to equipment. With dumbbells, it was only one dumbbell. We had plenty of those, so we could run heat. We still ran heats of 8, but like we're running, you have to come down to judges. You have to make sure that everyone is, aware of that. They need a judge and they need a scorecard. It's a lot to do. And then you have a 20-minute workout. So you have a 30-minute window to flip each heat. It's like, you're going to be there all night. Yep.
And then, man, we'll see you guys next week. We'll be doing the same thing, 6:00 on Thursday next week. We've got a special podcast coming out. We talked to Bella Martin, who was the MC of the very first 24.1 Open. So excited for you guys to hear that. You can see us on YouTube as well. But Jamie, buddy, thanks for taking some time, homie.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's bedtime.
Bedtime indeed. Well, hey, everybody out there in Masters Land and honestly, everybody else, we love all you guys, and we will talk to you guys very soon.